now we've done all the fun stuff. Now we get to the improvement part. So I'm going to get the general evaluator up here, introduce him, and he's going to begin the whole evaluation portion of this meeting. So come on up, Slate.
All right, so as you said, I'm the general evaluator. So just to explain my role a little. General evaluator, exactly what the sound, he kind of just evaluates the entire meeting itself. In a few seconds, we're going to have the evaluators for individual speakers come up, and their role is they're just specified for that speaker. They give their own opinion, their interpretation of that speech, and then any suggestions, improvements, what they did good, what they didn't. And then, like I said, I'm going to do the general meeting, so I'll call out the auto counter, timer, and premiering results as well. And so with that said, I'd like to welcome up Zach, our first evaluator, who was evaluating Brian.
So you hoodwinked us. I was very much prepared to listen to a history of Assyria. No. But I'm very glad that you gave your speech. It was hilarious. I really liked every single point of the April Fool's jokes. The thing about humorous speaking is it's the hardest thing to do in public speaking. Writing humorous speeches, they fall flat, and you have to pick yourself mid-speech and keep on going, making sure no one trips you up, even if a joke falls flat. I experienced this because I went through a humorous speaking manual, and basically every single speech fell flat, and I had to pick myself up from that. But you handled it very well, you delivered all your jokes, and you delivered it very well. A little thing that could improve it is just having imagery. Having a little bit more pronounced things, either by miming something, like how big the hands are on Big Ben, or just like having images of, you said that you had the Photoshop image of Big Ben up on the screen, because that would be hilarious to have that pictured up there. And having that up there would definitely enhance your jokes. But another thing that you could have brought from a very good delivery to a very great delivery is the intro to your speech. I really liked it. It was entire, just pull the rug out from under us. I was really expecting you to read your entire speech right here. Just, this is your entire delivery with ums and ahs and everything. You did it perfectly. I would love it if you took your voice like an octave lower and talked right here, and have lots of pauses and really soft, and then immediately jump in and be 10 times more active than you even are when you were giving the speech. Just be over the top, because that's what humor is, being relatable, but also taking what people expect and turning it on their heads. So you can say something like the fact that English people love Big Ben, and then just say how crazy it is that they changed it to a digital clock. Just all these things could be, it was at, I would say, an 8 or a 9, it could be at a 10 with incorporating that. So what you did was amazing, just standing here delivering your speech. But in humor and speech, I really love the over-the-top. I guess it's just my sense of humor. I think the funniest thing is when someone when the Kool-Aid man crashes through the wall. That's the funniest thing to me. Comedy is subjective. That might have worked perfectly with other people, but that's my 2 cents into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. To another recap, just why this is I think like most people here, my favorite part is it's a nice recap of the speeches. Is my own opinion why it's my favorite. And so with that, I'll welcome up our next, and I'm going to go in order with Evaluator 2. And how do you pronounce your name?
It's Shruthi.
Shruthi. So I'll welcome up Shruthi, evaluating Jose.
The whole idea of like fixing climate change, it's a really big problem right now, and not many people worry about it too much. We just kind of take it for granted. It's just there type of thing. But I really like the way you opened up the speech, just placing some rhetorical questions, engaging people, allowing some people to start like thinking about what the speech would be about. So I really like that, and it was targeting towards like UGA students and Terry majors, and Terry's the best college in UGA. So I'm a computer science major, which is part of the Franklin department, so it's really hard to say that when I'm not part of Terry, but still it's okay. Terry is ranked So yeah, Terry, I mean, it focuses on business, and obviously if you have good entrepreneurs in business, really like the corporate world just runs everything right now. So I really liked how you focused on like focusing on like having climate change in classes, like in your curriculum, could allow people to start like, you know, having businesses with strategies to change climate change, like improve or stop global warming. And I think a lot of my courses I'm taking, I'm not part of Terry, but I do think a lot of my courses don't like apply to the real world sometimes. I feel like I'm not gaining stuff out of it. So that is a really good message, and I think this message could be taken out to like, I don't know, like department head or something. But I like the topic, that's basically what I'm trying to say. So the way you constructed the speech and everything is really good. And some of the examples that you placed in there, like the coffee example, students not being able to function without coffee, it's so true. Like, my roommate's like literally addicted to coffee. Without coffee, she cannot just like, she doesn't have anything. She just sits there for long. So I really like the idea of just, if temperatures keep increasing, then obviously you don't have like a lot of crops, and yeah, it's a bad thing. So hopefully it will change with including it in the curriculum and businesses changing. But some improvements though, I do think like there was some like stuttering in your words, and it could be improved a little bit just because like the speech was like, the structure of it was really, really nice. But with some of the stuttering, like I think I really wanted to listen, but there's times I would like trail off just because I didn't know what you were talking about exactly. So just like, that's just a small improvement. But like, vocab-wise, the words, the transition words like that you placed in the speech was just really nice. It was very engaging, and I think everyone was engaged throughout the speech. Like, no one lost. So it's really nice.
That was a great first time, and so with that in mind, I'll welcome up. Yes, it was Evaluator Sarena evaluating our final speaker. Welcome up.
When I read Preciosa's speech title, Top 10 Betrayals, Top 10 Anime Betrayals, UGA Edition, my reaction was, Nani? Because I didn't understand the title. But then when I started to listen to her speech, I realized that this title actually perfectly encapsulated what you were trying to say. And so one of the things I wanted to commend you on is organization of the speech. And so what you did was you said your hook was betrayals. And then you gave some examples of betrayals. And then you talked about what an anime betrayal was. And then you talked about how UGA betrays us in an anime fashion. I don't know if I said that correctly, but I thought that was really clever. And the organization was great because you had 10 different points, or as you later went on to say in your speech, 15 different points, and we knew what exactly you were going to say and what to expect throughout your speech. A couple suggestions for you. I would say that because you're using your phone and you're trying to remember all the different points, one thing that you could do is focus on quality over quantity in the number of your points. So for example, you could have focused on maybe 5 points. For example, dining halls, parking, etc., etc., etc. So 5 points are a lot easier to remember. And in addition, if you had 5 points, you could kind of BS your way if you didn't remember like the fourth or the fifth one, you know? And then on those 5 points, you could also do more storytelling, give more elaborate examples. You gave an excellent example of the parking situation. I know I've definitely gotten a ticket on football day because I received the email too late because I thought UGA didn't actually enforce it, which it does because UGA wants to get your money every single time. So I would definitely say quality over quantity in that aspect, so it will help you memorize the speech better. And then another thing I would say is when you were having different transitions, you were trying to transition from point to point, you said the word "and" a lot to introduce each point. So instead you could say first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And then the last suggestion I've had for you is using body language to help emphasize your points. So for example, you did a really good job of standing in the middle, standing in the front, capturing the audience's attention at the beginning, and then you kept staying in the middle. So I would say you could walk around, have this be your first point, stand here for your second point, stand here for your third point, and then if you wanted to go back to the middle to wrap everything together, that would be great. So overall, I thought your speech was very fun, very relatable, and I am excited to see what other speeches you have for us.
All right, so then now comes the part of the meeting where I myself, as general evaluator, will give my evaluations to the evaluators and call for all the other stats, sort of as I look at it, of the meeting. So I'll start off with the beginning of the meeting with Toastmaster. And how do you say your name again? Yes, Raheem. And so just right off the bat, so I know you've been in Toastmaster for a while, so you just presented yourself really well. Great speaker overall. And so I'll just jump right into just my personal suggestions. Just give more time to write, like in between the speeches. So I'd say just a solid minute. And then more specifically, I think you forgot after the first speech to give time at all. So that's what I was more concerned with. But other than that, like, honestly, great job. And then on top of that, I really like when the Toastmaster, he just takes a solid, like, 5 minutes and just really explains, like, or maybe not 5 minutes, but but basically just, like, explain for anyone new in the room specifically, basically what Toastmasters is, kind of how the entire meeting will go, just like a quick rundown. And then that's really my main things I look for in a Toastmaster. But other than that, great job. So, yeah. Moving on, so straight to the evaluators. So Zach, so again, another well-established speaker in Toastmasters here, so jump right into the suggestions. Actually what you did good. So I loved how you made it personal. That was just great, because you connected directly with the humorous speeches, how that was your own thing. You've done a lot of humorous speeches, so you connected with that, how he made it great, and some suggestions from your own personal experience, basically. And then second, just of course, how all these should go. Talk directly to him, second person the entire time. And other than that, like, just keep at it. Yeah. And then kind of a recommendation for like all the evaluators I always give is I can't remember if you did this specifically, but I love the sandwich method. The sandwich method is basically where you say the good, what they did good, 2 or 3 improvements, and then end with good. All right, and the second evaluator, it was Shruthi, I believe. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Evaluating Jose. So just like Zach, you had great second person talking directly, I believe. And then I loved how you mentioned the topic a lot, but I'd say just a little less specifically on the topic. But I think it is good to give your personal opinion on it. Other than that, I think you did do the sandwich also in your own way. So other than that, I think you did a great time. It was your first time. You mentioned it was your first time. So that was a great job. So, and then Sarena. So I loved. So I loved how you started off with the whole Nani thing. That was really great. It showed that you were listening the whole time, and like that was a great intro, basically. And then with these evaluation speeches as well, and I also said speeches. It is a speech essentially. So it's an art because you kind of have to come up with an intro. Basically, we're going to talk about and end it. So you did a great job with that. That great intro is basically your hook. I just like that really grabbed my attention again. Just recap what her whole speech is about. You just did a whole rundown recap. So I love that. And then you had a lot of good movements. I love that. And then other than that, I mean, I'd say just I don't know. I don't have too many like suggestions there. Just keep, yeah, that's great. Good job. All right, and then I believe last, I've got table talks. Kirk. Sorry, can't find people. All right, so you did a fantastic job. This was your first time, right? It's table topics? And then, I can't remember, did you come up with the theme? Like, or was that sort of established?
We like brainstormed it a little
Okay,
bit.
yeah. So anyway, it was a great theme, like whoever came up with that. And then I loved, so just like with Toastmasters, I love when you explain exactly what's going to happen. It's mostly for anyone new in the room. So really just explain, you know, I'm going to say what this is about, and you're going to come up. And then, so other than that, I'd say just go a little bit more in detail, and then maybe if like a new person's about to come up and you know they're new, maybe do like a quick rundown, rate them again. And then, so I think you only missed this one time. Make sure you shake the speaker's hand. So just a quick point out. And then, so another thing, the topic, table topics is basically what their role is. You had great follow-up. I think every single speech, you had like a nice little quip about it. So that was a great job. Another thing I thought was like well-dressed and like friendly, great demeanor as always. So that's great for table topics. And you gave a lot of time in between, I think just enough for the table topics, so good job there. And then just one other quick note suggestion is, I believe you're supposed to ask if everyone was in time. Yeah, because I think, kind of like a dash on myself, I don't think I was in time, so like we kind of let that slip. But I think that concludes it, so now I'll call for our little stats here, as I call it. So I'll start out with Grammarian.
That is me.
And how's that one?
Hello. As most people know, the role of the grammarian is try things, three things, okay? First thing is I point out grammar mistakes that people have. Actually, it's all three. It's three different grammar things. So I point out first simple mistakes in subject verb agreement, run-on sentences, and then passive and active words. Before I go on to that, I would like to congratulate Preciosa, Kurt, and Fraser Rahman for using the word of the day. I believe there was one more person, but I couldn't, was it you?
Yeah.
And Zach for using word of the day, which is very nice. On the spot, you guys did a good job. Let's see. Yes. A lot of people were using passive voice, which makes the speech seem less interactive and less engaging for the audience. So when possible, try to use less linking verbs and using words like is, was. So try to be more active. Run-on sentences, a lot of you were like, and this, and. So when you're doing it, make a pause, and then continue on with the new sentence. And then subject-verb agreement, I would say a specific example, but there were like multiple occasions of this, so I forgot, actually. So just that's a general note, just be mindful of that. And when you're speaking, try to make it seem almost like a conversation, but like a formal conversation. So you wouldn't use slang in your conversation, but you try to make it presentable. Thank you. That's all.
Yeah, I think he said all there is to say. In my personal opinion, I think grammarian's one of the hardest because you kind of have to know what you're talking about, like grammar-wise, honestly. So, all right, and then moving on, I'll jump to odd counter. And who was our odd counter this week? That was Trisha.
Yes.
So she'll explain her role and call it out.
So as all counter, I was basically keeping track of any filler words, the likes, so's, yes, you knows. So I do have specific counts, but the way I'll structure it is I'll just mention the filler words that you more heavily rely on. So for Fahim, some but there was one you know. Ryan in your speech, some uhs and extended ands, a couple you knows. Preciosa, extended so's and ands, and when I say extended, that's like so, and then you go into the sentence, or and then going on into your bond sentence. And that can also fall into the trap. I noticed it more when you were listing out the different points. So you say one point, and another point, and so that was like what you relied on as your transition. But just to keep that in mind. Jose, nows, extended so's, and then for the topic section, Kurt, us, mostly between people's speeches. Nadia, like, FR, likes, Onur, one Zack, a couple extended so's and ums, Serena, so, Kiana, and so's. Tyler, I didn't quite catch anything, so good job. Jen, you knows and so's. Slate, some ums, and then for me personally, some so's and you knows and likes. And then to the evaluator section. For Slate, extended so's and ums, Zack, some uhs and some likes. Shruthi, again, some likes and you knows. And then Serena, extended and you know. Thank you.
Essentially what the all counter does, and then this again is personal preference. I do prefer when the all counter like gives you a number. Like I don't think I've been all counter, so I don't know if how difficult that is. But
yeah, as a sign up, if you do want to see the number, you
okay,
can
so she did actually count them. Okay, so that's cool. All right, and then moving on, we got the timer. I believe it was Tyler, right?
Yes.
All right, and you can go ahead.
All right, so for timer for today, there were a few people who went overtime, some people went under time. Usually during table topics, a lot of people hit like a minute average, but today it's either you hit right after 1 minute or you went straight up to like 2 minutes. So this is a very, very interesting group today. And also evaluations were all like 3 minutes, late 2 minutes, so it was all pretty good. So usually most times when we see these kind of speeches, usually people try to go for the minimum, but today everyone basically hit maximum, so that's really good. So good job everyone.
Clapping battle there, and that concludes General Evaluator, and so I'll bring back the Toastmaster.
Thank you. That was a great meeting. It seems like we're about to end up on time, so that's gonna be good. But overall, hope you guys had fun. And to close it off, I'm gonna get Tyler to come up, and then Serena can come after. So Tyler, come on.